give me my notepad. And they're all like, what the fuck you talking about? I'm like, when we got up to pray, I left my notepad on the pew. Where is it?
When I got up to pray.
Yeah.
Like, how hard of a statement. When I got up to pray, my notepad was on the pew.
Yes. Where the fuck is it? And they're all playing dumbasses. Like, they don't know what the fuck I was talking about.
Okay.
I'm like, okay. So that just like lit the fucking fire in me. So as soon as I got home.
I like your olive theory.
I think I like your new French fries.
I think I like your nose.
I think I'm in love with you.
What? You love me?
I can't believe I said that. Why did I say that? Who says that?
You love me?
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Rap.
And I'm Tam.
And welcome to
The Blah Blah Marry Me podcast.
episode number 10. DS. How else do you say 10 in other languages?
I don't know.
Okay, I don't know either. But anyway.
Barely bilingual, yes. So if you guys been listening to us for a while, we would appreciate very much if you liked and shared our podcast. We are live on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and iTunes podcasts. So if you like us, go on there, give us a review, give us a rate us. I think it's a star system. So 5 stars are always appreciated, but do what you feel. So go on there, like us and share us with your friends. We're on social media, Blah Blah Marry Me on Instagram and Blah Blah Marry Me podcast on Facebook. So definitely appreciate any likes or tags for us. So we'll get started. Yeah.
All right, let's do this. All right, guys. So what we got going on today is that we're going to be talking about situations that kind of happened throughout the series of How I Met Your Mother. And we're going to be talking about what would Rap and Tam do.
Exactly. So you and I share the love of How I Met Your Mother, the sitcom. And so there are some really real situations that they go throughout the series. So we're just going to touch on, I think, a few and then go through what we would do. Yep.
All right, Tam. So first question. Lily goes to San Francisco and leaves Marshall. She goes to San Francisco because she moves to re-find herself, right? Because she was, I guess, they were about to get married and she was just having like cold feet.
Yeah. So Lily and Marshall were together for a long time.
Yeah, since freshman year.
Since college.
Yep.
They met their very first day that they moved into the dorm. And so Lily and Marshall have only ever known each other.
Yeah.
And so they were going to get married and all of a sudden... Like, I feel like it was out of the blue. I don't know. What about you? I felt like it was out of the blue.
Yep.
She applies to some art program because she's an artist. She paints.
Yep.
And she applies to a program in San Francisco and then gets accepted. And then it causes like a ripple effect because Marshall didn't see it coming.
No. Totally blindsided.
Yeah. He didn't see it coming. And she just basically up and tells him, I'm leaving.
Yep.
And she leaves. And it wasn't even forever.
No, it was just for the summer.
Yeah, it was just going to be a couple of months.
But they were about to get married. Like, they were planning on, I mean, that night, they were looking for a band.
Yeah, like, they were getting married that summer. And I think that that's what it was. It wasn't like they were, like, the wedding was far off. And this was just going to be some time that they spent apart. And so then... Marshall basically gave the ultimatum, like, if you leave, then we're not together. Like, this is...
Yeah, well, they're about to get married.
Yeah.
I mean...
So she leaves.
Yeah.
She leaves, and Marshall, I still see it, super sad, sitting on the stoop with the ring in the rain.
Man. Yeah.
Ted comes home, and he's just like...
hooked up with Robin, so he's on cloud 9.
He was super happy.
Yep.
And yeah, it was just super sad.
Yep.
And then the rest of that season was just... How does Marshall get over it? He was going through like a super hard time. So anyway, that happens to you, Rap. What do? You and this girl are about to get married. And then she just up and decides that she needs to find herself and leaves. What would you do?
Like, when I saw that happen for the first time during the season, I totally sided with Marshall. Like, I mean, I'm not one for ultimatums, but like, that would be an ultimatum that I would give. And... like, definitely, it's the wedding or not. It's over. I'm I would totally grieve. Probably it's just as bad as Marshall did.
Yeah. It was rough.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It was really rough.
Yeah, especially they've been together since like their first day of freshman year. So like I could totally relate to him. Like,
Well, and they even say like they had never been with anybody else. Like,
well, Lily has Scooter.
Lily had a high school boyfriend,
Yeah.
but one high school boyfriend. Marshall
Yeah.
didn't have like anybody.
No,
He had only ever known Lily.
Yep.
And that,
so
but
his
that
world was torn apart.
Yeah, and like Lily was like enough for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's what hurt him the most, is that he felt like he wasn't enough for her.
Yeah.
For her to
Yep.
feel like she needed to move somewhere else to
Yep.
rediscover parts of herself. And
Yeah.
so you would say you would be like Marshall, super sad.
I would be super sad for a while, and then I would totally resent her.
Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
would totally fucking resent her.
Yeah.
And when she would move back, like she moved back eventually,
Sure.
right? Because her San Francisco didn't pan out for her. Sucks for her, but like, fuck you.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, is that she came back
Yeah.
thinking that they were going to pick up where they left,
Yeah.
and that she wanted to be back together with him.
Yeah.
And he was like, no.
No.
Like at first he was like, no, you really hurt me.
Yeah.
Like it took me a long time to get
Yeah.
over that. This is not like, no, like
No,
it's not going to
exactly.
work for me. And
Yep.
so, in the end, they end up getting back together.
Of course,
and-
it's Lily and Marshall.
Yeah.
It's fucking TV.
Yeah,
but like in real life, like, would you give your ex-boyfriend a second chance after he just like up and left you?
So
Because
that would be hard for me too, because I feel like that, like what Marshall felt, like reading more into it, that he felt like he wasn't enough for her.
Yeah.
And so for me, I would be crushed. Like
Yeah.
I would be so crushed that
Yeah.
I think like you, I think initially I'd be like, yeah, screw you.
Yeah.
Like I don't care what you do, just stay away from me.
yeah,
But I think in their case, I don't know. They felt like they were meant for each other. I mean, and they were. They ended up getting married. They're super
That's
cute.
true,
Like
that's
literally,
true.
it's one of my favorite storylines of the whole series. But on the flip side, like Lily's character, if I was getting married to somebody
Mm-hmm.
and I felt like I was losing my identity
Mm-hmm.
and we were about to get married and things, even though we'd been together for a while,
Yeah.
things were just happening really
Yeah.
fast. I don't know if I would do something different than like what she did.
yeah. Because that's all right. So I'm gonna go back to our episode 8 with Feasting Yvette. How Yvette went to San Antonio.
Yeah.
To go to school.
Sure.
But that's in the same state, like 3
Yeah.
hours away.
Yeah.
Lily goes to fucking other side of the country.
Yeah.
3,000 miles away.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, but like Feasting Yvette, their situation was she was moving away to finish school, but that was always her plan.
That's true. That's
It
true.
wasn't something that just came up, and they were like, okay, we're going to do this long distance thing.
Mm-hmm.
It'll work out. And I think that that's where like Marshall and Lily, where it caught him off guard, where he was just like, if you don't want to be with me, just say it.
Yeah.
Because that was nowhere in the plan.
Yeah.
Like it was always, they were getting married.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she's an artist and stuff, but and that's part of her life, and he very much accepted it and
Yeah,
supported
yeah.
her and all of that.
Yeah.
But that was not part of the plan, and I think that's where it kind of took a turn, where he
Yeah.
was just like, "You're either with me or you're not. Like
Yeah.
if you're leaving, then you're leaving."
Yes.
And so I think where Yvette and Feisty, that was their thing, is that was like it,
It
was
was always
always the plan.
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
was never.
So you would not do a long distance thing if your boyfriend suggested it.
So
Like, I want to stay with you, but I got to do this for me.
I think it goes back to that it was unplanned and it was
Okay. not
part of the situation. So I think I would react very much like Marshall and be like,
Yeah.
if you don't want to be with me, then just
Yeah.
say it.
Yeah.
If this is not for you, then yeah, we don't need to be together. And I think that that's where I understand Marshall, and that's what he told her and how he approached it. Because for me, I would be scared. Like if that was to be me and my significant other all of a sudden was just like, I'm moving across the country for a
Yep.
couple of months.
Yep.
Would I be okay with them? Especially, like I said, in the same scenario, we were getting married in a month.
Yeah.
And they just said, "Oop, pause. I need to go do this." That
Yeah.
I think it would be hard for me if I if they went, and then I was just waiting, and then I was really dumb in waiting, because what if they get there and discover something else?
Yeah.
And that's where they need to live,
Yep.
that's their calling,
Yep.
and that's what they need to do instead of being with me, that I would feel like Marshall. So I totally understand that he was just like,
Yeah.
I need you to tell me yes or no because I can't wait. And that's how I think I would react as well.
I get you. Yeah, and then Marshall was still going through his own shit. All right, so let me paint you this picture. So when I was 20, I wanted to go to Florida to go to school. I had nothing holding me back, but I did have a girlfriend, even though at the time she was living in a different city, different part of Texas. But when I told her that, hey, my plans are I want to go to Florida, and I'm going to go. So she didn't break it off. She didn't say, let's take a break. She said, okay, I'll go with you. So what if that? I know Marshall couldn't because he was going to law school.
Yeah.
But what if you're in that situation? Because I've been in that situation.
I don't think I would go.
You wouldn't go. So if your boyfriend was like, I'm going to.
Well, first of all, it's still my boyfriend at that point.
Yeah.
At least Lily and Marshall were like engaged.
Yeah, that's true.
They had like a little bit more of a commitment, but even then, like, I understand that's your passion, but you can't. I support you like 100%.
Yeah.
But like my life is here, and I'm like in Marshall's case, he was going to law school. He still had time. Like he can't just pick up and go to another school.
Yep.
Like he has to stay there and finish. And that's the thing that's different. I think that also like messed with him is that Lily knew that. So it's not like she said, hey, I want you to come with me.
Yeah.
I'm doing this program.
Yeah.
Like, let's go try San Francisco and see if it works for us.
Yeah.
She just said, I'm going.
Yeah. That's
and
true.
didn't include him in the conversation or the planning or
That's
anything
true.
like that.
That's
So,
true.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a hard one.
Yeah.
Because I will support, I think, anybody and what they do.
Sure.
But that was, again, out of the blue.
Yeah.
Not planned.
Yeah. She just did it because she freaked out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think she was just
freaking
having
out.
cold feet about it.
Yeah.
And that's the way she reacted, is that she used it almost as an excuse for her to kind of slow down this process that they were in.
Yep.
And then, like, on the flip side, it's funny when she comes back that, he doesn't want to, be with her.
Oh,
and
rightfully so.
But then they get back together, and then she's like, can we get married? Like, are we talking? And he's like, no, we need to date again. Like, we need to rediscover.
Yep.
But then they get back together, and then his family, like, hates her. My family would hate you.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
it's just like what they would hate you,
Yep.
whoever, person is that just up and left me. And then for me to come back, they would have some choice words and feelings.
Fuck yeah, because they saw you at your weakest moment.
Like at your absolute lowest.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, that would be hard, I think, because I know, like, even if I was like, I love them.
Yeah.
They had to we figured it out. Like, we're getting married. Like, I think my family would be the most, like objective in terms of how do you know they're not going to do it again, and why would you trust them? I think there would just be a lot of questions from my family's standpoint, even like my friends.
Course. Yeah.
Like, what would you tell me if that was me? Like, if you were Ted and I was Marshall.
I'd be like, you're dumb.
Yeah.
I'd be like, don't do it. Because, no.
Like, you would tell me just to stay away.
Yeah.
Because there would be, it's just so much potential for a repeat.
Exactly. They do it once, they'll do it again. Just,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Crazy.
All right. Let's go to the next one.
So Ted, if you've seen How I Met Your Mother, is very much a bachelor in this whole series, but he's actively looking for his wife. Like, he wants a meaningful relationship, and he's constantly on that path. So he meets a girl named Victoria at a wedding, and he and Victoria hit it off. They spend a lot of time together, and Victoria's a baker, and she owns a bakery. She had applied to a fellowship program in Germany before she met Ted, and while her and Ted are dating, finds out that she gets accepted to this program in Germany. Mind you, they're not dating very long. What, like a month? Not even, I feel like. It was not long.
No. It was maybe 3 weeks because...
Yeah, like a month. It wasn't...
Well, no, because it took them 3 weeks for them to, like, sleep together for the first time.
Yeah.
And then And then I think it was like a couple weeks after that.
Yeah,
where
so
she, like,
it wasn't long.
So a month and a half, let's say.
Month and a half,
Yeah.
very short time frame.
Yeah.
But they are very like in their honeymoon stage because they're
Yeah.
very newly dating and
Yeah.
enjoy each other's company. They
Yep.
haven't gotten on each other's nerves yet.
Yep.
And she's going to Germany and she's like, I'm going. Mm-hmm. Again, it was always in her plan.
Well, the thing is,
Ted
like,
was not in her plan.
no.
So-
and that's why, like, when they met at the wedding, like, she didn't want to exchange names.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't even want to kiss.
No.
You know?
She gave him a fake name.
Yep.
And basically was like,
Buttercup.
yeah, if you want to find me or something like that. And so then he went on this quest of, I got to find out who this
Yeah.
girl is.
Yeah.
Ends up finding her.
She owns the bakery.
Yeah. So it was a big, long process for them to even meet. But anyway,
Yeah.
so she gets accepted to this fellowship program in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And so the question then becomes, like, what are they doing? And I think they agreed that they were just going to, like,
Well, I mean,
break up, I guess.
Yeah, well, remember when Lily was like, she was looking for a wedding dress, and then she was asking the girls, or it might have been a different place, but she asked the girls, like, what do I do? Should I stay? And then, like, she agreed on staying. And then,
yeah.
and then
Yeah,
when
yeah.
Ted and, because Ted was also talking to the guys about it, do
Yeah.
I ask her to stay? Or do I just, like, let her go? And Ted asked her to stay, and then that's when she freaked out, and that's when she was like, okay, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
But initially she wanted to stay. I guess she got cold feet like Lily again.
Yeah. Well, and I think it was, I do remember that now you're saying that, because he said, I want you to stay. And that's
Yeah.
when she said, I have to go.
Yeah.
And so I think she wanted him to say, no, go. Mm-hmm. Like, that's your passion.
Yeah.
Don't stay. Like, and so I think that freaked her out, was that she was like, I have to go.
Yeah.
And so then they decided they were just going to have like a weekend left, and
Yeah.
that she was going to go, and that was going to be it.
Yeah.
And then they get to the airport and decide
Let's do long distance.
Yeah, they're gonna try long distance.
Let's be dumbasses.
And so, well, okay, this long distance is across an ocean.
Exactly.
Like, that's not the same. Like,
Different fucking continent.
yeah, it's not the same situation
No.
as just moving from a city in the same state. Like,
Exactly.
definitely not the same situation.
Exactly.
So, so then they decide to go long distance, and I mean, really, neither one of them had plans like to visit or to go and come back. They were
No.
just talking on the phone.
Yeah.
They were, I mean, she was sending him care packages. He was not really doing much.
No.
I mean, so it was a really sticky situation. And if you, like I said, you know about the show, they don't work out. But that was the situation where I think he felt really strongly about her. She felt really strongly about him. And so they were like, maybe this is what is supposed to be for us. Maybe
Yeah.
you're my person. And that's
Yeah.
why they decided to go long distance.
Yeah.
So what would you do if a person,
All right. So if my girlfriend wanted to, or the person I was dating,
person you're dating, month
yeah,
and a half.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, I would not call that a girlfriend.
Yeah, no.
So if she wanted to, if she got accepted to go to this fellowship, whatever, across the pond, I would let her go. I would let her go. I wouldn't even try long distance. Like, you know what? It's only for a couple of years. If it works out, I mean, after that, she comes back. Let's try it out and see what happens. But I would not. My nose itches. I would not like try to do a long distance thing.
Okay, but you also can't. I think when you leave, you have to leave. You can't like have the lingering of,
Well, because-
when you come back, let's see. Because then you don't want that to be an option
no,
if
because-
you're not available or if you're not feeling it.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
or-
let's see what happens. I mean, you know, I can't predict what's going to happen in 2 years. So I'm just like, at least for me, like I try to be as flexible and as going with the flow as I can.
Sure.
So that's why I'm saying, like, let's see what happens in 2 years. You know, especially since like,
But then I feel like, you know, that also gives like false hope.
false hope.
I guess that, I
Okay.
mean, I feel like that gives false hope if you're saying, because like I know one time I dated this guy and I was like, it's not our time. And I said, I just don't think this fits right now. It's just not our time. And he's like, well, then I don't think it's our time ever.
Okay, so
Like it was super like, if, you know, this is what our reality is right
Gotcha,
now. We
gotcha.
can't be hoping and waiting that something else is going to come up later, which was very hurtful for me at the time.
Yeah.
But looking back on it was
Yeah.
very, I didn't have any like loose hopes or feelings or, things like that after, because it was very clear to me that it was like, if this is our time now, then it's our time. But if it's not, it's just not. And we have to accept that it's just not going to work out and then move on. And so that's how I feel about
that situation.
Yeah.
If you were put in that situation.
Yeah, if I was put in that situation, I would just be like, yes or no. And that's it.
And that's it. So no to be continued.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like Lily and Marshall, whenever Marshall gave the ultimatum, it's either yes or a no. Like, are we getting married or we're not?
Yeah.
And she was like, and she just left. For him, that's why it was hard for him to accept her when she came back.
Yeah.
Because he was like, I've put it in the past. Like, I wasn't holding on to anything.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel like with Ted and Victoria, that I would probably do that. I'd probably.
I see. I don't blame you. I'm just the type of person who keeps my options open. We'll see what happens. Huh?
Your safeties. You can't do that.
We'll see what happens. I mean, shit. I can't predict the future.
Yeah. Well, and then that episode where Ted's getting married to Stella. And Ted she says something like, I thought maybe sometime if you in the future, what does he say? His safety. He called Robin his safety.
Safety school.
She called him.
Oh, no. Robin was hoping that Ted would be her safety
Her
school.
safety.
Yeah.
In case she never got married, that Ted would still be available for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's like kind of what that situation would be.
I guess kind of, yeah.
I mean.
Okay, so then let me ask you this. Do you have a person who you made a pact with?
No.
Like, if we're by... See...
No.
When I was in high school, I think I had like 2 or 3 packs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Look at you. So popular.
But like, A, they're all married now. And then B,
Okay.
it wasn't until like we were 40.
Yeah. Well, and like those are so, like, you can't. Like,
Yeah, we're in
it's
fucking
just-
high school. Like, what? That doesn't mean shit now, you
I
know?
Well, and then the thing, like, with Robin thinking that about Ted, like, she knew that Ted was in love with her from the beginning. I mean, the
Robin,
first
yeah.
episode, he said,
I
love
love
you. And she was like, what?
Yeah, it's in our fucking intro.
Yeah, and so she knew that Ted was always in love with her.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's not fair for either to think that one day, like, if she doesn't have any other options, that Ted's gonna be there, because he won't. Like I mean, people can't wait forever.
No.
At some point, you got to like move on from something.
Yep.
And so, yeah.
Which, and this is totally off like our little shit here, but like it made me think of another question. Okay, so you know the episode where Ted has this pharmaceutical rep who's played by that country singer, I forgot her name. And she is basically just like toying him along, like leading him on. And then it turns out to be like a vicious cycle, because in turn, Ted is like stringing along this other girl, and that other girl is stringing along this other girl. So have you ever had have you ever like led on a guy thinking, oh, it's just not the right time?
No.
Like, okay. So have you ever been led on?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, no.
No.
It's very like black and white for me, which is probably like just me, the personality, like the way that I am, the way that I approach like work life, personal life, very much. I'm like to be very black and white. I don't like to live in the gray.
Yeah.
So I'm very much like Marshall, like yes or no.
Yeah.
It's super cut and dry for me. So
Okay.
it's either, what about you? Yes or no?
Last time I was probably led on was like in high school.
Oh, that doesn't count.
No, exactly. It was like,
Nothing counts in high school.
Yeah. Like, I'm probably not as cut as dry as you are,
Yeah.
but like, I don't think I've ever been in that situation where I'm led on, or to be honest with you, I don't know if I led anybody on. I probably have.
You just don't know it.
I just don't
You're
know
just
it. Yeah.
oblivious.
Yeah, I'm just like I said, like I like to just go with the flow, and
Yeah.
if I'm giving you the wrong impressions, I apologize. It's just
Well, and like we talked about in one of our previous episodes where you took the girl back to your hotel.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
And you were like, I don't know. I'm
just
just
going
going
with
with
the
the
flow.
flow. And I was
Exactly.
like, dude, you can't do that. Like, you totally led her on and thinking something different. So I can totally see that being from you too, that you just didn't. You're just like going with it. And
yeah,
not
and then plus, I mean,
seeing-
Yeah, that's where her car was. But like, and yeah, I did ask her like, hey, do you want to go inside? She could have said no.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, she wanted to end up ultimately back in your room too, but it's like the way it was approached before.
You know what? Okay.
was-
So if I could redo that whole weekend, I totally would. But
so what would you do different if you redid it?
I would not have that first night. I would not have asked her to like meet up with me and my sister and my sister's friend at that bar. Instead, I probably, since she got out late, I probably would say if she wants to get some drinks.
Yeah.
But then like that's it, like just drinks.
Sure.
And probably not dinner because that might lead to whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I probably just want. Well, probably just want to ask her like, hey, you want to meet up with me and my sister?
Sure.
Because
It's mixed signals.
it is. But like I said, like I was only I'm not in the
I
valley
know.
very often,
Well,
and then like.
and then you didn't you really didn't mean it. I know that you did it, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I still had to like call you on your bullshit and be like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Like meeting your sister, like going to dinner. Those are not like FWB like
No.
action items.
No, as my friend Alana is trying to say, like, just trying to keep it light and cool, fun and cool. Like, I forgot what she says. Anyway,
Nothing too heavy.
no, nothing too heavy. Just going with the flow.
Yeah.
Okay, so in this other episode, Barney meets this girl. Turns out she's a stripper. Barney is so in love with her. He does what he can to make sure they end up together. So after a while, they end up together, and she's still stripping though.
Yeah.
And after a while, Barney doesn't like it because when she goes to see her at work, like she's all over guys and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And understandably, like I wouldn't want my girlfriend to be a stripper.
Sure.
But you met her at this fucking
I was like,
strip
but that's
club.
how he met her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, was he right in a way for to make her want to quit because he can provide for her? Like she doesn't have to keep on working.
Well, and it's a completely uncharacteristic move for Barney. Like for
Totally.
Barney's like character in the entire series is like bachelor not trying to be married. So like
Yeah.
if you would imagine him and Ted is very much a bachelor looking for his long-term relationship.
Yep.
Barney, complete opposite, like picks up girls, goes out every night, like it has a really good job, which we never really know what he does.
Please,
We don't ever really
please.
Please, yeah, like we don't ever
Well, no,
Well, like for real.
no, like but remember when he's drunk at the end of the series, like they get him super drunk where he just tells the truth, and so he finally tells people what he does for a living. And I forgot. Please is an acronym. It actually stands for something.
Yeah. Well,
I
like
forgot what it was.
I forgot. It's like signing.
Yeah, he's basically like
He's like the scapegoat for his company or something.
Yep.
But through the whole series,
Yep.
all you know about him is that he's got a lot of money. He wears suits all the time.
Yep.
Suits up every
Yep.
night. Suiting up means
Yep.
get dressed, go out, blah blah blah.
Get laid.
So he meets Quinn
Yep.
at the strip club.
Yep.
Asks her to not work anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And she moves in with him and obliges him.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not a stripper. But if because they're just boyfriend, girlfriend. They're not even does he ask her to marry at that point?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't remember if it was before or after.
To be honest, I don't know either.
I don't
I know
remember.
like they eventually they get engaged.
Yeah. So would if my husband or soon to be husband was wealthy enough to be able, or not even wealthy, but in a good place that he could
Provide for you where you
us,
didn't have to work at all.
future living kids,
Yeah.
all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would feel about him telling me I can't work because I've spent a big majority of my time being super career focused and getting to where I'm at.
Yeah.
That I don't think I would appreciate him telling me not to work. Granted, it's not the same as stripping, right? It's not the same scenario.
Yeah.
Like I have a good job that I feel really good about. I love doing it.
Yeah.
Like I really do love my job.
Yeah.
but I don't know how I would feel about my husband telling me not to work. I don't think I would. Like, I think I would just continue to work because, like I said, I really like it. And on the flip side, in what way, for me in my case, what would be his reasoning for telling me not to work if we don't have kids yet? Like, is it a macho thing that he just doesn't want me to work?
Possibly.
He just wants me to stay at home and, like,
Yeah.
clean and cook and shit? Like,
Yeah.
So,
Well,
like...
if he's wealthy enough or has enough money enough to where you don't have to work anymore, I'm pretty sure y'all can afford a maid.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, what's his reasoning? Is it a macho thing then?
Possibly.
It's just I am the man, you are my wife, I don't want you to work. Like, what's the reasoning behind it? Because on the flip side, I would hope that my husband would understand how much I love and care about my job, that it really, like, enlightens me and just gives me purpose past, like, you know, us being married. Not that I don't, like, you know, appreciate him and what, you know, he's trying to do, but I would hope that he would understand that about me, that I love it, and that he would ask me, you know, if that's for you, then it's for you. Keep on doing your thing.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
So again, it would be like, what's the reasoning? The only thing I could think would be is that it was a macho thing.
So on the flip side,
Sure.
if you were the one that brought in the dough, would you tell him, hey, quit your job?
No.
No?
Like, that's a dead no for me. Like, no, you're going to work too. Like,
Okay.
like, whatever this is. Like, if you don't, and then this other thing, if you don't like your job and we have some money for us to invest in something else that you might like more, figure out what that pathway looks and let's talk about it. But no, like, I wouldn't want my husband just to not work.
So if either of you had the money to where you can support your spouse for a while, so that spouse can, like, figure out what he wants to do in life, totally for that.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. Like, but it also would be a conversation. It wouldn't be just me saying, I don't want you to work.
Yeah.
Because I make enough money.
Yeah.
It would be, what can we do that gives you purpose, that you enjoy as much as I enjoy my job?
Yeah.
That's what I would want. I would want you to be happy in whatever situation you were. But I wouldn't want them just to not work.
I get you.
What about you?
Same. I would not want to, like, strip her from...
Stripper.
Yeah, exactly. I would not want to strip her from, like... I would not want to strip... I mean, if my fiance, girlfriend, wife, whatever, is doing what she loves to do, I'm not going to take that away from her.
If she's a stripper.
If she's a stripper...
You're Barney.
Yeah.
She's Quinn. She's a stripper.
I think eventually, over time... If after we get engaged, as while we're boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, make her own money, whatever, she's her own person. If we get engaged, it's a different story. I think I would want her to move on. I would want her to find her own path.
Now, I do feel differently. Like, if I had kids, depending on what that looks like, if he's like, hey, if you want to stay home, you totally can. That's another scenario. I don't know how I feel about that yet. I cannot comment. So.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
but if it was just, I just don't want you to work anymore.
I got you.
What for? Like, I would need some. Like,
something
no.
to look forward to.
Yeah. Well, I just need, like, some explanation. Like, why would you not want me to work? Like, you can't, I'm not the person, and I feel like you should know this too, like, for you just to tell me something and me be like, okay.
Yeah,
Like, it's not going to work. So, yeah.
Okay, so.
But she also was a stripper. I think we need to remember that. She was a stripper.
Yeah.
Like, us in our real life, not strippers.
No.
So, but I think that it would just bear some conversation.
Yeah, of course.
So.
Yeah.
Because she was the one that, like, changed Barney. Barney was not looking to settle down. He was not looking to be married. And he meets this girl who happens to be a stripper.
Yep.
And then he decides, like,
Yep.
throw it out the window and get married. So,
and you know what? Like, I thought Quinn was the girl for him because, like, you remember that prank that they played on all the friends?
oh my gosh, yes, they were a good couple.
They were a good
like,
couple.
They
It's
had
just-
fun together.
Yeah.
They just seemed to bring out a really good.
It's just that prenup that they tried doing is that just fucked up everything. Because that prenup was, like, fucking thick.
Well, so then what would you do in that scenario? It was the same thing. Like, Barney, that was his dream girl. They got along, everything fine, and then bam, prenup.
Here's a prenup. But, like, his prenup didn't really, like, wasn't about money. It was just the prenup was about her maintaining her features, her status, her physical features, and
Terrible.
that's Barney. That's just
I know,
that's his shit.
and that's like so stupid.
Yeah.
Like of all the things to write in a prenup, that's what he's gonna write in there. I think it's just
600 pages worth of that.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
See, and that's like stupid. That's the Barney that I would expect. That's
Yeah.
the Barney that's in the rest of the series.
Yeah,
It's just I was like, wow, I thought Barney left
that behind
that
him.
behind,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
like no, he totally
yeah.
was Barney and then fucked it up. Like
I mean-
that's what happened. Like when he met Quinn and she like changed him, like he was going to put that away anyway. So I don't see like the reasoning for him doing all of that. I think Barney got scared is what happened. And that he lost, like he was losing himself, I
Yeah.
think is what he found, that this is everything I don't believe in and I
Yeah.
don't want.
Yeah.
So I think that was part of that too, is why he decided to go that route and do all of that. And
All of
he
that.
like succeeded. He scared her off. So, yeah, interesting. It's just, I don't know what I would do if that was like what my prenup was. I'd be like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is what you're going to bring to the table? Like, this is what you want me to sign? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Get out of here.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So here's another one.
Okay.
So Lily,
Uh-huh.
Ted, and Marshall have known each other since college. So Lily and Marshall at this point have gotten together. I think she's actually pregnant with their first kid in this episode. And I think Lily lets something drop at some point and says, I might have to sabotage this one too, or something like that. She lets something drop that
Yeah.
basically alludes
Yeah.
to the fact that she has been sabotaging Ted's relationships throughout their friendship if they don't pass the front porch test.
Yeah.
And so for Lily, the front porch test was her and Marshall sitting on the front porch of their house with Ted and his significant other.
Yeah.
And so if the girl that Ted was dating at the time didn't pass that test,
Yeah.
the front porch test, if she couldn't see all of them sitting on the front porch when they're old,
She'd find a way to break.
she would do something that would make them break up. Like
Yeah.
I think in college, she like planted a CD or something.
She did several things like that, like
Yeah.
plant CDs, plant
Like they
like
had
an earring or something like that.
Yeah, it was like stupid music choices
Yeah.
or something. And then I think he alludes that she did the same thing with Robin.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Sorry. Yes, but it wasn't because she didn't. It was before a bet. Remember, Lily and Marshall had bets going on their lives.
Yes,
and
yes, yes.
So I think that's why Lily wanted to win the bet, and that's why she ended up sabotaging
No, but like, what did she do? I don't remember. She did something.
between
Robin.
Ted and Robin.
Yeah. She did something.
I don't remember.
Because I remember her saying, y'all wanted different things and y'all were never going to be on the same page.
True.
So I did
That is true.
X. She did something.
Yeah.
Because I remember, I think in this episode is when they're all in the pajamas watching Robin really early in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Her really, really early morning show.
Yeah.
And so that's when Lily like confesses that she had done all these things to
Yeah.
his girlfriends.
Yeah.
So the question being, you find out that your friend has been sabotaging your relationships because she doesn't, or whoever, he doesn't think that they've been a good fit for you. What would you do?
I would be pissed.
Okay.
I'd be pissed because I would feel like they don't know that this girl that I'm dating, like I know that girl.
Okay.
So I'd feel like they're not giving her a chance. And I think there would be some time where I just I don't deal with them anymore.
So, okay, but we've also talked about like sometimes your friends see through the bullshit.
Yeah, that is true.
So, I feel like my friends are my first barrier.
Yeah.
My first barrier of defense, if you will.
I mean, that's true. That's true. Like I would never I mean, I say this now, but like I would never want to date a girl who my friends don't like.
Sure.
So that being said, yeah, I mean, my friends. If my friends do that, I mean, yeah, I would be upset. But then I would just probably just need some time to cool off.
Sure.
And then finally, like see things where how they're saying things. So
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a hard one.
it is a hard one.
Like, I don't know that I would sabotage my friends' relationships. I would just kind of let them be because I would feel like they could see, they would eventually open their eyes.
Yeah.
But like my very first boyfriend, like my friends didn't like him. They didn't like him at all. I don't think.
Did they do something about it?
No, they just made it very known and like didn't hang out with me whenever he was around. Like it was.
I getcha.
But they didn't do anything like to try and break us up. I think. But eventually, I did open my eyes.
And saw what they were saying?
Yeah. And
Okay.
so then it, was my thing. And I had to come to that on my own. I think had I been forced into that, I definitely would have resented them because it would have been something that, like, it's not yours to see. Like,
Yeah.
it's my relationship.
Yeah.
So if my friends were sabotaging or doing things that would make me and my significant other, like, break up, that I would be really angry at them too.
Yeah. And rightfully. Rightfully
yeah.
so.
I think like you, I'd need some time to cool off, but that I'd eventually be like okay with them because then, I mean, understandably, they had your best intentions at heart, though they didn't go about it in the very right way.
Yeah, exactly.
They did have best intentions, so
Yeah.
I mean that's just a hard one to swallow. But like I think the way when Lily was going through all the relationships and like what she did, like in each one of them.
Yeah.
That she was like, I just kept seeing us on that porch and she didn't fit. Like, that's just what she kept saying. Like, they didn't fit. And so...
would you ever be the one to sabotage, fuck up a relationship? Only because, like, your friend is just too dumb to...
Not dumb. They're in love.
Same shit. Same shit.
I don't know that I would. I think I would probably have serious conversations with them and be like, are you sure this is what you want? Like,
Yeah.
I saw these qualities in this other person and they were really, there's a lot of similar, like, I mean, you can't make people see things they don't want to see. You can't make people change if they don't want to.
No,
So I think
that's
that,
true.
again, it's one of those things that people have to come to their own conclusions. You
Yeah.
can't make them.
Yeah.
And that's where I would be. Like, I don't think I could. Like, if I didn't like my friend's person, that I would just kind of, like, let it be and see what happens.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm always going to be there for them no matter what. But, and I think that that's the conclusion you have to come to as well. If someone's in relationship with someone that they don't necessarily like, but they're comfortable with them and they're just constantly, like, complaining, like, are you going to do something about it or not? Because if you're not, then I need to stop hearing about it.
Exactly.
Because it's literally
It gets
a broken,
fucking old. Yeah.
It's a broken record.
Yes.
So, yeah, but I don't think people have to open their own eyes. So I would just kind of hope that they would open their own eyes and, like, I guess just kind of be there. But yeah, Lily was, like, kind of out of control with all of that.
That's true. I don't think I have to go that far.
Yeah,
out.
she was out of control with trying to force them into seeing what she was seeing.
Yeah.
So
like I've had some friends where I don't like their, and it's usually like chick friends that I don't like their boyfriends. I think their boyfriends are shitty, and so like they just stop being friends with me.
Sure.
And that's happened twice.
Well, and that happens. Like, it's like, get on board or don't. And that's, I think, the ultimatum that people, like, when that situation happens, it's like, either you're my friend or you're not. Like, if you don't like them.
And the thing is, like, I've talked to them about, like, all right, so one in particular, I'm not gonna like say her name or whatever, but she was like my friend from high school, and she started seeing this dude at work who was already married with kids. And I told her, like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Don't be a fucking homewrecker. And she kept on, like,
Kept messing around with
just
him.
kept messing around him. And he leaves his wife,
Yikes.
and they end up getting married.
Are they still married?
As far as I know.
Interesting.
And then so he ends up telling her, hey, if this guy, supposedly your best friend, isn't supportive of us, then stop talking to him. So
Yeah,
she
that's
did
what
what
happened.
yeah. Yeah.
that's a whole nother topic, which we're actually going to talk about next episode.
Yeah.
Cheating.
Yeah.
So, I couldn't be supportive in that case. I'd be like, what are you doing? Like, I just can't. I can't have it on my conscience. Like, I can't because it's on my conscience just as much as it would be on yours. And that would just, it'd be a lot of pressure for me. So I don't know how I would react in that situation either. Probably the same as you. Like, just think about it. Think about what you're doing.
Anyway, so let's move on.
Yeah.
So Zoe is a girl that
I like Zoe.
I did too. It was just something about her always that's you know. So Ted meets this girl who was basically a kind of
She's an activist.
Activist. There you go. I was gonna say protester, but activist.
Activist.
Yeah, because Ted was going to basically demolish this fucking historic building because he was gonna. He was an architect for the new GMB building, the new bank building, and so.
Which it would be the first building he'd ever done.
Yeah.
Top to bottom.
Yes.
He'd been waiting a long time for this.
Exactly.
So.
And then she was in the way of everything because, you know, like I said, she was an activist, so she was like giving him a hard time.
It was like a landmark or something, right?
It was a landmark.
Something.
Yeah.
Something of historical importance. And they were going to demolish it to build this new building.
Yep. And so eventually, I guess after like, you know, bumping heads for so long, they end up discovering that they have feelings for each other. And so they're hanging out, I guess you can say, just to put it in simple terms. And then he finds out that she's married. And then he's like conflicted because I have feelings for Zoe, but she's married.
Yep.
The fuck do I do?
Yeah.
What would you do?
What would I do? If I'm Ted or if I'm Zoe?
If you're Ted.
So if I'm Ted, she's married, like that's off limits.
Off limits.
Period.
Okay.
Though I do think it was interesting because they hung out quite a bit.
They did.
They were like enemies. Like they, you know, they both liked the building, but they both he was like, it's going to get torn down. Yeah. Like that's its reality. Yeah. And she was still fighting him on it. Yeah. So there was like the whole few episodes where they just hated each other. But then they come to a happy median, I guess, and then become friends and start, you know, hanging out and all of this stuff. So I think it was odd because they had gotten to that point where I felt like they were friends that she didn't say she was married. Like, I thought that was weird because she was, I mean, the conversations that they were having, you know, I don't think she wore a wedding ring.
Not that I remember.
I don't think she did. So I thought it was odd. Which breaks almost what was her intentions with him, because if she wasn't wearing a wedding ring and they were having all this thing, so it brought a question because, like what were they doing? And so that's first of all, like that one is confusing. Yeah. But like if you're married, you're off limits. So I think it would suck. But
it looked like she was unhappily married.
But that's what I'm saying. So what was her intentions? But she wasn't forthcoming with that is what I'm saying.
No, that's true.
She wasn't like, I'm in an unhappy marriage. I don't know what to do. Am I getting divorced? What am I doing? Yeah. Like she didn't bring any of that information forward. So I think if I'm Ted, that I am like, well, you're still married. Yeah. Like it's like a no question. But it does suck because I felt like they did have a good... they got along really well. They shared a lot of the same interests. The chemistry was good. Like it was a really good fit, but at the same time, she's still married. So it's like, so sorry. What about you?
So if I made a girl that we get along great, we get along famously, and then I find out that she's married,
what do you do?
Yeah, I would stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would stop. Even if she tells me that she's unhappy, like I still would not pursue this. Yeah. I would still back away and then let her figure out what needs to happen in their marriage, and then you know, like I said, I go with the flow. Like come at me if you get divorced. Yeah.
Oh gosh. gosh. Yeah. It was an interesting situation, I think, because there was just a lot of lead up to that. And then boom, she's married.
Yeah.
And at that, she's married to like this old rich guy.
Yeah,
so then
the
I'm
captain.
like, why'd you get like, I don't get it. Like, it was weird. Like, it was just a weird situation in general. But
that was a weird marriage. But then again, he got married to boats afterward.
Robin's favorite person. So, yeah, that was just interesting.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so marriage, right?
Yeah.
So in the episode where Ted meets Stella, or not the episode, this time of the series, Ted meets Stella. They are dating. They get married, or not. They don't. They get married. They are going to get married. They're engaged.
Yeah.
Ted. She has a kid. I think she's older than him, right?
She has 2 kids.
No, she only has one.
She has 1?
Yeah, one kid.
Okay.
And they're going to get married. There's this whole thing about Robin being at the wedding because at this time, Ted and Robin had already been together, right?
Yes.
And then he invited her ex to the wedding.
No, she did not want.
No. I thought that he invited her ex.
Oh, yeah. Ted did.
Because he invited Robin.
Yes.
So to balance it out and be fair about it, he invites her ex-husband to the wedding.
Yeah, and she gets all pissy about it.
Yeah, and then she has to ask Robin to leave because it's not, appropriate, whatever.
Yep.
Well, then, twist of fate, she leaves Ted at the altar.
For the ex.
She leaves him for her ex-husband. And so then Ted is left, like, broken because I felt like Ted jumped a lot. Like, she had a kid, and that was a lot for him to accept. He was moving to New Jersey.
Yeah.
Which he was like, I'm never moving to New Jersey. And she was like hell-bent on, no, this is where I live. This is where she goes to school. Like, this is where we're going to live. He moved. He
did that 2-minute date thing.
Yeah.
Which was fucking cool.
Oh my gosh. That was the sweetest thing. Because she was like, so, it was just a lot for Ted. Like, he put so much effort, I felt like, into that relationship for her to just like up and leave him at the altar. But.
Well, the thing is, like, so she told Ted not to invite her ex. There was a reason for that because there were still unresolved feelings.
She still had feelings.
So you know what? So like, it's a blessing in disguise because if they would have gotten married anyway, she's still like.
She would have still had those feelings for him.
And like, I would not want to be with the person who still feels for their ex.
Yeah. Well, but he didn't know that.
That's true.
That was something that she just
true.
like never shared with him, except in that one part wherever he's there. He's reflecting back on. Things that she said, and she was like, there's just all these feelings for exes, and when you see them, you don't know how you're going to react.
Now
but
it all makes sense.
It made sense for him. But it was something that I think was like super hurtful.
She left him a note too, right?
Yeah.
Like didn't even like say it in person. Like, I feel you, bro. I feel you.
Aw, rap. So so like, what would you do in that situation? Same thing. You meet a girl. She's got a kid. You move away.
Yeah, like I
for
move
her.
Yeah, I do everything I said that I wasn't gonna do for this girl, and she leaves me for her ex.
Yep.
Honestly, I'd probably be fucking devastated. And then I think, knowing me, I think I would just be numb after a while. Kind of like how Ted was after a while.
Yeah.
And then. I think I would just I think my don't give a shit mode will just be on, and then who knows how long it'll take for me to get it off.
For sure. What if you were Stella?
If I was Stella?
You were getting married. Your ex-husband or your ex-wife.
Shows up.
Shows up.
Yeah.
And you still realize you have all of these feelings for her that they didn't go away.
Yeah.
What do you do?
See,
do you carry through with this marriage?
No.
To this guy that you know, like, is gonna love you and support, or to this, girl who's gonna love you and support you?
Well, it's easy for me to say no right now because, I'm not in that situation. I've never been in that situation. Yeah. But like, if I was Stella, if I was in Stella's shoes, like. A, there was a reason why me and this ex didn't work out.
Sure.
B, maybe Ted could have been that person.
Sure.
it's just, I don't know.
That's hard.
It is hard because, you know, for the most part, going back to your exes, it doesn't never work out because history
Yeah.
repeats each other, or it repeats itself.
Well, and then in their case, I think there was one part where her ex's name was Tony.
Tony.
That
yeah.
he gives Ted a hug and was like, now I realize everything that I didn't, or that I had. Like, I realized my mistakes, and they have that conversation.
That's true.
And
That's
that was always Stella's thing in that.
Yeah.
And that was that she said, I waited way too long for him to understand.
Yeah.
And to realize what we were and what we had in our family for him not to take it seriously. And then I think when that light bulb went off for him, that he was like, I'm ready. And that she was like, okay. Because that's for her, I think, what she always wanted. Yeah. Is that she just wanted him.
But then why get a fucking engagement? Why be engaged to fucking Ted?
Well, because I think at that point, though being with her ex is what she always wanted. She always wanted for him to realize
when he realized,
that's what she wanted, but that Ted was like, I don't know that if what she came to the conclusion that she was like, it's never going to happen. I need to move on, and that's how she met Ted, and that's why they got engaged and did all of that stuff. But then he comes to the wedding, and then he probably, he honestly probably just gave his last ditch effort and was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's true, because we don't see don't see them talking. We see them at the end on the pier, on the
boat with Robin. Because Robin, remember, she asked Robin to leave,
and she did,
and then she gets on the same fucking boat when she's leaving Ted, and it was just awkward. But you don't see them talking. But if I had to guess, that might be what happened, is that he just gave like a last ditch effort, and that she was just like, I'm so glad, or, I don't even know. We don't know. Yeah. But I think that that's probably what had to happen. But I would be, if I was Stella, God bless. I don't know. I don't know what I would do, because I would feel just like, I think I would feel like you. Like, if you did it to me once, you're going to do it to me again. And here's this really awesome guy who's jumped through all these hoops to be with me.
Exactly.
But it's also the father of her kid. So, I mean, you can't blame for her to want to try and be with him either.
No.
So it's hard. That's a hard question. I don't know.
Oh, but remember when they're at the restaurant and they're all like hiding underneath the table, and Ted finds out that like she ends up moving to New York.
She moved to the city. Yeah.
Like, remember how livid he was? Like, finally, like this whole episode, they were waiting for like Ted to explode.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
I'm fine.
I'm cool.
And then he like literally just explodes when he finds out that she moved to the city for him.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't have done it for Ted.
No.
So they just weren't meant to be, man. Like, literally so many things in there, they just weren't meant to be. So
that shit sucks.
I think that episode's on right now. Wendy's like,
oh yeah, Wendy. So
okay.
we have How I Met Your Mother in the background.
Wendy, scotch and soda.
I liked Wendy. Wendy was cool.
Yeah. Goodness. All right. So I just think that they just were not meant to be together. Like, they just weren't.
Okay. So let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this. So you're still in love with your ex-fiance, ex-boyfriend, whatever you want to call him, after so long, and you have a deep, rich history because you have a kid, and you just go way back. But you have this new guy proposing to you, even though you have feelings for your old ex. Like, what do? Do you still say yes, or do you want to do you ask for time to figure shit out with an old man, or do you just say, this is my sign, and this is a sign for me to move on and forget about this other guy?
I don't know how to answer that question. Well, because if I'm like trying to think about, like, I think I would always have some feelings towards like my kid's dad, because knowing that they're my kid's dad, like I would, I mean, no, I don't know how we ended. So that's a hard question. Like, if they cheated on me, I'd be like, fuck you, like, I'm never gonna talk to you again. Like, I don't know. It would just be, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question.
Yeah.
But I would appreciate, like, so in Stella's case, Ted was making, like, he jumped through a lot of hoops for her.
He did.
A lot. And so I feel like I would understand and be like, wow, this guy's doing all of this stuff for me. Like, he really is showing me that he wants to be in my life and my daughter's life. that I would probably be like fresh start. Like I need to just move forward and not move backwards. And that's how I feel about that.
So what advice would you give your friends if they're in that situation?
I don't know that I would lend the advice unless they asked me.
Sure.
Because again, I can't make people see things that they don't want to see. I can't let them. I think that I would probably just say like my piece and be like, look, just think about this through. Like, this is why y'all ended. This is why y'all didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you sure that's not going to happen again? This guy over here loves you to the moon and back. Yeah. He's doing all these things for you.
Exactly. He's shown it.
Like, really, you need to really think about this. Yeah. So I think I would just spur their thought process as opposed to telling them what to do.
Sure. Makes sense.
What about you?
No, I agree with you. I think I would do the same things you do. I won't tell them exactly what to do because I don't have the right answer. Yeah. It's just,
It's hard to say unless you've been in their shoes.
That's true.
And I think that that's where a lot of this, we're saying in our shoes, right? Yeah. Like if we were in the shoes, this is what we would do. But like, once you get past, like, you know, we've never been married, we don't have kids, like, that's hard. Those are hard questions to ask. So I think for us, like, lending advice, we would just stir thought processes.
Yeah, exactly. Just open your mind a little bit and think not just one-sided, but two-sided. Or, you know, there's more sides to the story, except for one.
So we have one last topic to talk about, and this is probably, I think, for
the doozy.
Us. Yeah. So towards the end of the series, Robin and Barney are getting married. Spoiler alert. They end up together. And Marshall is on his way with the baby because him and Lily have a baby at this point.
Yep.
To the wedding.
Yep.
And Marshall is a lawyer at this point, and Marshall's whole goal in life is to be a judge. Yeah. He wants to be a judge in New York City. Yeah. Lily still actively, she's actually a teacher by her day trade, but still actively painting.
Well, no, at the time she was working for the captain as a art consultant.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that. I forgot she switched.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so that's where this whole thing came about.
Yeah.
So Lily was a kindergarten teacher.
Yeah.
And then was an art consultant for the captain.
Yep.
Captain is going to Italy
Yep.
for a year.
Yep.
Wants Lily to come with him to do that, to serve as a consultant for him in Italy. And she would get to go to all these museums and see all these paintings.
Which is her fucking dream.
Yeah, it's her dream to do that.
Yeah.
So her and Marshall had already decided that they were going to move. Right? They were moving to Italy for a year.
Yeah, but that was before.
So then on the way, Marshall gets a call that said, I don't know what his application for the judgeship had been accepted. Yeah. And they were going to place him as an active judge in New York City. So what do you do?
So you're basically telling me that I have to choose between my dream and then my wife's dream.
Basically, that's what happens in this situation.
God damn.
It's hard.
It is hard.
What do you do? Because, you know, painting the picture, Marshall had always been super supportive of Lily.
Yeah.
Had, you know, where that one episode, they were hard up on money and she was trying to sell paintings. They don't work for humans, but they work for dogs.
Yeah.
So he convinces the vet to commission her for some art pieces so that she makes them for his office.
Yeah.
Marshall had been working different jobs with his ultimate goal of being a what is that?
Well,
environmental lawyer?
Yeah. But so that just didn't pay.
Yeah, so he was working on other ways that he could yield change, and so that's how he, you know, worked for Barney for his corporation for a little bit, and then his way of yielding change was to be a judge. Yeah. So that way he could still make an impact, but, you know, make money as a practicing lawyer. Yeah. So, but the thing is, they had already decided that they were going to Italy. And so on the way, because there was like a series of unfortunate events, right? He was in visiting his family in Minnesota. Yep. And or Wisconsin. Where's he from? No, it's Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
And
they hate the Packers.
Yeah. And so him and the baby were on their way back in the plane and something. So he ends up renting a car with Sherry Shepherd.
Yeah.
I don't remember what her character's name was.
And it's funny because, like, you know, he's environmentalist, and the car they have is like a big guzzler.
Yeah, it's like
guzzler.
a Hummer or something.
Yeah.
And then, so him and Sherry Shepherd are talking through the scenario because they end up driving from wherever they're at. They drive to the East Coast somewhere. I don't remember where they were getting married. And so they end up driving, and they're having this conversation about what he should do. What, you know, they've already. And so through the course of the conversation, he tells Sherry Shepherd when they're role playing that he's already accepted the position. And she was like, what the damn hell? Why would you accept that and not tell your wife? And then she shares that she was married to her daughter's father and that he didn't support her in her career passions and they got divorced. And that's when it's like, funny. What do? I lobby for oil and gas.
That's right.
And he's an environmental lawyer. And so anyway, so it's just really, it's a comical thing, but it's a very real scenario.
Yeah.
What would you do?
The thing
is, and then we'll share what they did, but you gotta go.
Okay.
You go first.
Like, so in all fairness, I've been supporting my wife all of my career. I've been supporting her financially. I've been supporting her, like, for her to follow her dreams. She fucking left me. You know,
never gonna let that one go.
No. And then neither did Marshall. You know, when they finally, they met up at that little. So to make things equal, and I mean, I understand that's not how marriage works, but like to make things fucking equal, it's my fucking turn. I've done all this for you. It's my turn. What have you done for me?
So you, even though you've already agreed, you would say we need to stay in New York.
Yeah.
So that way we can have a life here.
Because they weren't they expecting another baby?
Yeah, she was pregnant, I think.
So why go overseas?
Well, at this time.
Oh yeah,
they didn't know that she was pregnant.
Yeah, that's true.
But yes.
But they still had 2 kids.
No, they only had one. They had Marvin at that time.
Oh shit! All right, never mind.
They only end up with 2 kids.
I thought they had 3.
And I think she was pregnant with the second one, but she hadn't told them yet.
Gotcha. Okay. Anyway, they still have a fucking infant.
Yeah.
They're going to Italy, which is, I understand that's an amazing opportunity for Lily, but they still have a baby infant. What's Marshall gonna do?
In Italy. Yeah.
They have no family members. I mean, so it's just.
Well, she was gonna take Mickey with her. Her dad.
Oh, that's right.
He was gonna go.
That's right. Well, I mean, I guess they had family support.
Yeah.
Over there, but like,
it wasn't a permanent process.
Which is true. But still,
so you would still say, I need the longevity, so I need to be a judge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
I'm just saying, like, to make things fair, I'm lining up the lines.
Okay. So for me, I'm Lily, and I get this opportunity. We've already decided. I know that I'm pregnant. You don't know I'm pregnant.
Well, I mean, she still wasn't sure yet, right? It didn't. I mean, she was like maybe.
Well, she was pregnant though.
Okay.
So she was pregnant.
Okay.
So if I know that my husband gets the judgeship, I would still be like, you can be a judge. You're still really young.
Yeah.
Like
You'll get another opportunity.
Can get another opportunity to be a judge. I have this 1 year for us to go and live in Italy for a year.
Yeah.
Captain's going to pay for it. We don't have to pay for any living expenses.
That's true.
1 year.
That's true.
I think we can do this for 1 year.
That's true.
But I also...
You're pregnant.
Yes. I'm pregnant. And understand that we need a more permanent placement. I think I would still be like, we still need to go to Italy for whatever it is. And because I don't even know that they stayed there for the whole year, did they?
Well, they didn't go.
I thought they did. I'm really.
I mean, we can look it up afterwards.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look at this episode because I thought that they did.
No,
because she said, "Okay, I'm remembering."
She said
her.
It wouldn't make sense. I'm pregnant. It wouldn't make sense to go to Italy.
I thought they did though for a little bit. Okay, TBD.
Okay,
but I think the judgeship would be the more
sound
logical. thing
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah, because especially
But I would still be like, it's a year, man. Come on. But I'm also pregnant, so that kind of throws a bunch in the
I mean,
plans.
yeah,
So-
that's true. That's true. And then also like judgeships don't come very often.
And that's what Marshall's point
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
that they
I mean, once you're judging, you're judged for
this is my chance,
Yeah.
like this is what I've always wanted, but it's hard because on the like what would you do on the flip side if you were Lily?
if I was Lily,
Yeah.
logically speaking, I'd say we stay. I mean, it don't to me it only makes sense for you guys to stay
It does.
because you're fucking pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to watch the episode because I thought that they went.
No.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to have to watch it then.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so that one, basically choosing between your dreams, that's,
I mean, it's
hard.
sacrifices that we have to make. You
it
know?
is. It's just, that's a really, really hard one.
I just feel like Marshall has already made enough sacrifices.
He's made a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
And what has
definitely
Lily
made
done?
A lot.
Lily fucking shopped the whole fucking time.
You are so bitter for her. Like right now. You're bitter towards Lily. Her character.
I mean, besides being a good friend
Sure.
to like, you know, Ted and
Mm-hmm.
Robin and, you know, Barney every now and then, like, she was a fucking bitch to Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
She was a bitch for leaving. She was a bitch for like running up all this credit card debt that, you know, Marshall ended up having to pay for.
Yeah.
I don't know. To
So
me,
you're just like, this is your chance to let me have what I want.
yeah.
Got it.
Because what else has he asked for?
That's true. He
He
hasn't
didn't
asked
ask
for a whole lot.
just pancakes.
Yeah.
There's pancakes every Sunday.
Yep.
And yeah.
Yeah. The logical solution or the logical choice would be for them just to stay in New
Yeah.
York.
Yep.
Yeah. It's hard though.
I mean,
Because
it
then,
is.
I mean, really and honestly, that would be her last chance to do something like that. Because she is, you know, has kids
Yeah.
and like that opportunity for sure was not going to come around again.
That's, well,
So it was going to be her last chance to do something like that.
yeah, I'd have to agree with that point.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to agree with that point. But it's sacrifices. I mean, you make
Yeah.
sacrifices when you get married. You make sacrifices when you have kids.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you have to give up on your dreams when you have kids.
Well, I wouldn't say your dreams. I would say things that you would like to do.
That's your dreams.
No.
I think I'm just bitter right now.
Yeah, you're bitter. I
Yeah.
mean, we need to like have another conversation or something because this is
Yeah. I'm still fueling from fucking
when she
Lily.
left him.
Yeah.
That was a hard episode.
It was
Super hard episode to see Marshall looking so sad and broken. Anyway, okay. Parting words.
Parting words. So don't be a little bitch. I mean, you know what? After all we've talked about, we can say don't be a little bitch to like every single fucking question that we've asked each other today. I think what I'm just gonna tell you guys is just don't be a bitch in life.
Don't be a bitch in life.
Don't be a bitch in life. Like if fight for what you want. Don't settle. And just remember that like if you want something, then you have to work at it. Like don't expect for shit to get handed to you. And that's, I mean, that probably doesn't really relate to what we got to. But like I said, like I can come up with don't be a little bitch for every single thing, every single topic that we've talked about today. So I'm just gonna give you like an overall don't be a little bitch.
Okay. So I think mine is going to be most of these relationship questions they've been varying, right? We've talked a lot of different topics. So I think the bigger theme in all of this is that they felt like in these situations they were losing themselves or giving up part of themselves to be with this person.
Yeah.
And so what my don't be a little bitch is going to say, I know that there's sacrifice in relationships, like you said, and compromise, but don't compromise so much that you feel like you lost yourself.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So don't be a little bitch and let the other person dictate what kind of person you are going to be. Because I think that that's when relationships start to take a downward toll, is because you are just constantly trying to appease the other person and what their wants and needs are, that you lose sight of what your own could be.
Yeah, that's a good
So
one.
that's going to be my parting words.
Yeah, I like that one. Also, know your worth too.
It's also a running theme in the
Yeah.
last few episodes.
Yeah. So again, this is episode 10, guys. We could just have 2 more after this one.
2 more. It's crazy.
Yep. So make sure you tune in for next week, because next week we're going to be talking about
Heavy topic there.
yeah, this is a heavy topic. We're talking about like red flags. We're going to be talking about like cheating. Have you been cheated on? What qualifies as cheating?
We're gonna have a guest on too.
We have a guest on.
And we're gonna save that one for what they're gonna be talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed listening to us. This is episode 10. So we are on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and iTunes podcast. So we would super appreciate if you would go on and like us, subscribe to us, give us a review if you'd like. We really would like that. And if you like our podcast and have been listening, share it with people. We are on Instagram at blah blah marry me and on Facebook at blah blah marry me podcast. If you're listening, like tag us in it. Share us with your friends. We would really appreciate that. If you have any comments or anything about this week's episode, shoot us an email, contact@blahblahmarryme.com. We're pretty active on our social media, so drop a comment, shoot us a message if you feel like it. We'll get back to you. We super appreciate everyone who's been listening. Have enjoyed hearing about things from you guys, and we're actually going to do a wrap-up, like, mailbag, I guess, if you will.
At the season's finale.
Yep, it's episode 12. So, anyway.
Do we have anybody we got a shout out today?
I want to shout out to my friend Janet. She's been listening in Virginia. Very faithfully. I think every week we talk about this week's episode. So it's been awesome to connect with people like that. And I'm super happy you're listening, Janet, and hope that you share us with your friends too. What about you?
All right. So this week I want to shout out my high school buddies, Alana and Priscilla. They've been listening to us since day one.
Hi.
Just want to say thank you, and they're always, every time we upload episodes, they're always like they always message me like saying, we totally love this week's episode, we totally relate, or like, they interact with me.
That's
like
awesome. Yay,
doing
friends.
comments, stuff like that. But we appreciate it a little bit more if you guys would do, like, share us on your social media.
For sure.
And yeah, I want to do two this week.
Oh, another one?
Two shout outs.
Oh.
Alana and Priscilla.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Also check out blahblahmarryme.com. That's our website.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of pictures and like an about me section about us.
And how we got started. Screenshots. Screenshots of like our text messages.
Yeah. So there's just some other content about us. So if you'd like, blahblahmarryme.com.
And you can also listen to our podcast.
Yeah, you can listen to us there.
On our website, yep.
But yeah, thanks so much for listening, guys. We'll see you next week.
Yep.
I think I'm in love with you.
You love me? Yeah.
I think I'm in love with you.
You love me?
Sometimes your exes know you better than your current buddy.
But they shouldn't.
They shouldn't. But sometimes, like, that's why you keep running back to exes, is that, you have a history and it's comfortable and they just know you. They know how to comfort you. And especially since